If Bioice did show up, I probably would say he'd move out second in this group than GameTime and JackO. But, we'll see. GameTime and JackO have been given a little bit of a burst of fresh air. They have a burst of opportunity here to see if they can move on to that coveted round of 16. Here on Dash and Terminal, on the right-hand side, it is the yellow Zerg player, GameTime, representing the USA of America. Thank you, Hawkeye, so much for doing the observing and all the production. In the top spawn position from Luxembourg, it is the green Protoss player, JackO, playing for E, if I can remember the letters, C Visualize. That would be the funny name. If I can remember this name, clan. Yep, that's what I play for. First Overlord of GameTime will move right across that map in a lovely position. And honestly, with the scouts on this map as Protoss, it's always a little bit, it's interesting because yes, you can kind of do kind of crazy things. You may be able to get a stalker in time to deny it, but it's still, you almost as to play straight up standard or just be really cheesy and not at all worry about being scouted and just say, you know what, screw it, I'm proxy gating you. This is game one of a best of 3. Let's just see what happens. See how JackO plays out his PVZ, though. PiLiPiLi liking the, not quite baguette style, but a little bit of baguette style. And we'll see if that is what JackO prefers in this. Looks like GameTime thinks, actually GameTime's going to take his third as his natural, I think. So yep, there is the third base is natural, which may scare JackO here. JackO is on one base, still not quite going for his natural, but since it looks like he's going for a 1-gate expand, this could, just the alarm bells going off right now. Oh crap, you went pool first, what is going on? Scout into the main, we'll see if he overreacts and throws down something else, but it's almost early enough in the game. If this would have happened maybe 30 or 40 seconds later, it could have scared JackO into doing more stuff or throwing stuff down back at home, but really, at that point, you can't actually do anything. Can't actually do anything. Maybe JackO denies the third? Nope, but it's gonna come down to the fight of the claw versus the static beam. I sometimes it's just weird who wins those fights. Like I don't even understand them. I'll just be honest right here. But GameTime will. I don't like Hawkeye. You're laughing, but I'll be like, hey, my SCV is double your health. I can kill you like in a battle. I'm like, oh wait. Maybe you had probe micro. I don't understand this. But it will be a 3-hatch before pool by GameTime. Actually, kind of it's natural base into a pool into a hatch, but because of the delayed third, he'd put down slightly quicker. Or because of that annoying probe, he had surplus of minerals. But that's Cyber Spot. I know I like it, but I also really hate it because if there's like 5 roaches there, then the Nexus, the Photon Overcharge doesn't actually get it. We'll see, though. I mean, it may be insanely smart. It is smart. It does block that little area off, which is beautiful. One pylon can block it off, but obviously it is 1,200 health total, 550 shields, 550. I think it's 1,200. No, it's not 1,200. Maybe it is 1,200. I can't do math, guys. Well, it's 550 shields, 550 health, so it's like 1,200-ish. It's like something over 1,000 health in total, guys, to the 400 pylon. It's 1,100. Thank you. I could not think of it. I was like, I mean, 550, it's 5, oh no, yeah, it's 1,100. Don't do math, Drennoc, don't do math. I think the first time I casted with Trigonal, I believe, is a guy I casted with a lot before, is like, you know what, never do math on stream, just don't ever even try it. Like, if you can count it, that's cool, but don't add numbers together, because you're not going to get it correct. For now, though, it is a beautiful cybernetics core, and actually JackO is going to get a full wall off. With 3 hatch, we've seen kind of weird things from No Regret, like going into Mass Ling on this map and being able to just kind of finagle his way around the walls, but with JackO's wall right here, I can't honestly tell if it's full wall off. I don't think it is. I think it's barely not, just above that gate maybe. There's a little way to get in, but nevertheless, it's a nice wall right there. Yeah, I think you can get it through there. We'll see, though, a little bit later on. We have seen, as I mentioned, some lane pushes on this map before and then kind of finagled their way into the natural. Sentry is there and will prove to us that A squared plus B squared does equal C squared, and it can wall off that little ramp right there. Man, the chat here is very funny. Thank you, RSL and Hawkeye, for making this chat. Mothership Core actually may have overcommitted a little bit too much, does have to pull out after losing a decent amount of health, and this actually in turn means it won't quite be at home quick enough, but game time, Metabolic Boost will be done. He's only forcing out a couple Lings, though, not anymore. So far in the map, 7 Lings are out, and they're just going to annoy, but JackO going into the full Baguette style will force out sentries. Actually, I'm not even going to say Baguette, because he's just doing Stalker Sentry, guys. It's really cool, but now, as I was saying, the Cybernetics Core. At first, I was thinking of game time, like, he thought he was so clever. He was like, wow, you idiot. Like, why'd you put the Cyber there? But I feel like Roaches, any amount of Roaches are going to do fine versus that. Because we do see a Roach Warren come out for game time, and Lair, just doing the standard 3 base is going to go. That I don't think the Roach Warren is the safety Roach Warren. It's just, okay, I will be going into Roaches. We'll be able to push off the back of this. He is on 3 gas. Easily can go up to 5, which is where we've seen game time do this before and go mass Hydra. But in this case, he is not. Game time, realistically, of the main base of JackO, he's seen a little bit, but he just sees a ton of sentries. Actually, in the natural base of JackO, that Overlord, man, depressing life. You're just tickled to death. He was tickled to death right there. Very depressing life goes down, but I mean, for now, that does say, okay, you have a lot of sentries. You may be able to push out soon. That's going to be hard to take a 3rd base even with that amount of sentries on Dash and Terminal after you've just 100% fully walled yourself off. But there are the gates, guys. JackO adding on 3 more gates. He's currently on 5 gates, I believe. Actually, I guess 6. Don't do math, Drennoc. Why did I even try to add 3 plus 3? It's not even worth it. It will be 6 gates, though. Game time on 3 hatch. Does have his lair. Not quite going Hydra yet. Actually, will be going Roach speed. The biggest thing to mention, though, is he does not have any Evo chambers. It's going to be a Roach speed push. Nevertheless, though, like I was saying, I guess if we see JackO take his 3rd base, he won't need to worry about that Cybernetics Core, but that one Colossi, the Lings are like, oh, I got this, guys. I got this. This is amazing, but maybe you don't. And realistically, with Lings, I guess hallucinations do take extra damage, but with Lings, how much do you really understand how much damage they do? But I don't know, we'll see. Apparently those Lings believed in themselves a little bit too much. They're like, oh man, like they come home, that is the war story. Like, I ran out there, guys. They're saying to the little larva brethren right there, like, guys, I ran out and there was a Colossus there, and it just blew my mind. I killed it, and yeah, that was my 1 kill. I'm now an ace officially, but you know what, we'll see. Decent amount of Roaches will be piling up, and like I was saying, with that amount of sentries of JackO, you already have to be prepared. You have to have your Roaches, you have to have your Lings in that 3rd base to be able to deny it. And now he can, and I mean, maybe his Cybernetics Core is fine now. If we saw a quick, like, 6 Roach Rush, something like that, from our Zerg player, maybe he could have killed it, but for now, Blink is on the way, +1, and this is totally, I don't even want to call it the Baguette style, because it is, but it's just, okay, guys, this is Stalker Sentry style. We'll see how it rolls out. A couple Zealots mixed in. Blink is on the way, so he will be committing to more Stalkers, but still not that many done, and now JackO knows where it is. He could just force field off, and he does force field off. But some Roaches kind of will meander into those cannons. Currently 3 cannons are up, but Tunneling Claws is on the way from game time. Sadly, game time does not have Burrow. So, with that being said, I'm trying to see when it times out. I think it may time out perfectly. It won't quite time out perfectly. Potentially, you could start Tunneling Claws, and it would go for 10 seconds, because Tunneling Claws is 110 seconds, and Burrow is only 100. But we'll see, guys, because the Roaches hitting this back rocks, because technically there is 3 bases in your natural base, but beautiful force fields will keep JackO safe, and there's so many little places you can force put on this map. Why not? But now with Roach speed, they could do some damage, but with 4 cannons already ready, beautiful force field will keep a decent amount of Roaches in. Maybe those Roaches will commit to killing that hallucinated Colossi, but that'll not be the case. I don't think there's even a Robo yet for JackO, actually, now that I look. There is no Robo, so no chance of that, but now with his speed, with the mobility of Game Time's army here, he will be able to maneuver around and kind of try to kill some stuff. At least pull the army out of position, but JackO committing a lot, and honestly, with this map, he kind of can take a 4th base, and he can kind of take a 4th base off the back of this if he takes the bottom left-hand base, and take a relatively kind of safe base and keep walling up, but for now, will he even be able to get a Photon Cannon is the depressing side of the story. And no, he won't. We'll see, though. More Roaches kind of culminating on the left-hand side of this map. Off the back of this, finally, Burrow is done, but there's so many cannons here, it doesn't matter. JackO will see it coming, and a Robo is only now coming down at the 13-minute mark for JackO. He will have some Immortals, but it's just not going to be enough. All Game Time can do is try to get a Concave, which he does. He's got a beautiful Concave here, and actually, not that many force fields do go down. These 2 gates, or at least 3 gates, will be in jeopardy on the right-hand side, and all these Roaches may be able to kill some of this production here. It's actually quite beautiful. Currently out of the map, there are 7 gates, but these Roaches, if they're good, will be able to bring that down to, I think, 5, bring But for now, though, here is the Sharkin coming forward, and there's no Robobait, there is no Observer, only relying off of cannons for his little bit of defense. Will go straight under those force fields currently out of the map. There are 35 roaches, 10, 12 more on the way, and they're doing a decent amount of damage. After the sentries going down, there's just not enough force fields to keep out this main army and kind of give a little buffer to the Stalkers to work with their Blink Stalkers, or to work with their Blinks, and now Game Time is actually just pumping up more and more roaches. Unlike the game when he went Hydras, he is getting damage done and doesn't care about his fourth base because he's moving forward, doing more damage. Now these Stalkers, the Stalkers, maybe they can blink into the main base from that cybernetic score, where they still have to go over that if it was non-stock units like Sentries or Zealots. Roaches will be pushed back, but more Roaches are on the way. Currently 22 out of the map, and no Sentries. That fight started off, I think, with like 35 to 40 Roaches against a decent amount of Stalkers, but now the Stalkers have been whittled down. We see an Immortal desperately being trying to Chrono Boost. Currently, the Stalkers of JackO are at +2-0, while Game Time is at 0-0. As I mentioned a little bit earlier on, I think at like pretty much when he took his third base and got Roach Warren, that he did not have an Evo Chamber. So he will be able to attack, but after a little while, he's not quite going to be able to keep pushing and actually overwhelm. He did, though, kill a decent amount of things right there. Overall, 6 gates did survive. He only killed 2 gates, but he got rid of some cannons. He's really just kind of pushed back the front, which I guess technically that is the northwestern front in this situation. We'll see how that goes down. Off the back of this, yes, Game Time taking a 4th, but he does not have any Does he have a Hydra? He has a Hydra Den. No, he does not have a Hydra Den, so it's pure Roaches off 5 gas, which dang, that can produce a lot. No! These Stalkers got to be very, very careful. Yes, there are sentries now. They do have force fields, but with the Stalkers so far ahead and using their blinks aggressively, if that's the case, it's not going to be that good. Time Warp does go down, beautifully holding out a lot of Roaches, but Sharking Roaches do move forward. The cannons do have the vision. Is there an Observer currently out of the map? The answer is maybe so. No, the answer is yes, actually. Not quite with this main army. We'll see how that goes down. There's the Observer. We'll be able to kill a lot of these Roaches because of that one Observer, and now the Roaches are going to have to hightail it out of there. They don't have anything to bank off of. So Blinks, now they were good right there, but still Game Time has to be very, very careful, or my bad, JackO has to be very careful about blinking into Game Time with his amount of Roaches and with the sentries a little bit farther behind. It has to be really careful. And by the way, Varsovi, Pat, this, as I was mentioning, these colors are very, very vivid. I just have to say, because you agree with me for once, like, it's amazing. The counterattack Zealots will not quite be able to get damage done. But we see off the back of that, I mean, Charge coming out. We see a Warp Prism on the way. JackO, he was able to secure his third base, as I mentioned. Honestly, it wouldn't be too hard to secure a fourth if he still had his wall up. He could, but we'll see how that goes down. This kind of back area is so much at jeopardy, but man, 7 cannons will do a lot of damage. Thankfully enough, though, there is no sentries here, so these Roaches are just going to be pelling through it. Just a couple of force fields do go down. It could be devastating this Roach army, but the army of JackO is not quite going to be fast enough. I only think, kill like 1 cannon right there, 2 cannons, but they will be able to pull the army out of position, maybe go for that third base. There's nothing here to keep the main army out, at least no wall. That was previous there where those Roaches just came through. And now JackO's at a little bit of a scary position. There's a beautiful concave here for Game Time pushing forward. There's the Observer, there's the cannons, but I don't think it's going to quite be enough. 11 more Roaches on the way, and these Roaches are just doing a ton of damage into these Stalker lines. Still, it's kind of going back and forth. Time Warp is down. Off the back of this, by the way, or not off the back of this, but there's no upgrades, and with those no upgrades, Game Time has to pull back. The Immortals doing a remarkable amount of damage. And as I was mentioning, 0-0 Roaches do not fare well versus 3-0 Protoss. Not only that, but we see shields out of JackO. I like it, but I wonder if that's an accident. We'll have to see, though, because here's the Zealot counterattack. They do spot the Infestation Pit. They may be able to kill it. Roaches being pulled back, but not the entire army of Roaches. Potentially with the Nether Wave, maybe have like a DT or something. As I was mentioning, we see more DTs. He could kill this. But that main base will go down. And the Infestation Pit is now in jeopardy. The Roaches are not quite in the right position to actually deal with it. The Broodlings will help with that, but there's the Infestation Pit going down. There is no kind of just next step for Game Time. Guys, this is game 1, though. In a best of 3, he can lose this, but still. Game Time, he went for the early Roach pressure. He was doing so well. But with the wall, with the cannons, it was so easy for JackO to defend, but now he's out of position. The Observer will spot it. Oh man, the hype was almost real right there, but it sadly isn't real. Fourth base of JackO does go down. This is the one time where Game Time can counterattack, and there's not quite a full wall of cannon there to defend, but we'll see if that goes down. For now, Game Time just trying to get a nice position. His main has been sniped, and thankfully that was not the hive, that was not the lair. The lair is in the natural, but still he's going to be at a kind of wonky position. I'd love to see him split up his Roaches, but after so long trying to do that, it didn't quite work, and actually losing because of that in some situations. He's being very careful about it. The Observer of JackO in a remarkable position. By the way, Storm is on the way for JackO. It'll be a fantastic just finish off of this army, but still he does not quite have as many sentries as he needs. But now that he's immortal, he is fine. But they're the 2 sentries. Those are all the sentries he needs. Thankfully, there will be Roach and Sharks. I don't know how Sharking... I'm actually really curious who started saying Sharking. I think it was Nathanius, but still there are sharks in this game. Apparently Zerg is now aquatic animals too, but that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. We'll see though. This base, as I was mentioning earlier on, it did not have cannons. It did not have what it needed to defend. But now it does, and now there's just another wall, and Storm is done! We can see some big storms with the Time Warp. Is there any storms on these High Templars? Not quite storms, they're only about 60. They're only at about 60 energy, but we'll see. The forces are really good, but still with the Sharking, they'll be able to move very aggressively. Not quite enough sentries to keep Forest Field in, but the Guardian Shield is good, providing a little bit of extra time. But come on, Storm is so close. There, the Storm's done. Beautiful. Storms go down and decimate the Roach forces. Still, though, they have so much health. Shark right into the main army of GameTime, or sorry, of JackO, but there's just not enough here. Off the back of the 7 more Roaches on the way, but the entire army has been decimated. Yes, they sniped all the Immortals, but JackO, currently 80 army supply to the 60. He's got all the defenses he needs. He just has this kind of open area where the Mothership Core is, which is really the only place where the army of the Zerg player GameTime can kind of push in successfully. And 4 bases, it's been even economically for a decent amount of this game, and just not even, sorry, it hasn't been even actually. What I meant to say is that JackO's actually been slightly ahead, I feel like, in a lot of the situations. He's been on 3 base to 3 base, been on 4 base to 4 base, and now as you see the 4th base of GameTime only has 8 workers. JackO is just slowly edging out, and again, GameTime throws everything he has, but now it doesn't matter what he throws at because there's a huge Zealot Warpin in the natural base of GameTime, and this time the lair is at jeopardy, and the Infestation Pit, and the Roach Warren actually in a decent amount of mining. We'll see though if the Roaches can get there fast enough. Zealots desperately trying to focus down that layer of GameTime. More Zealots in the main will take out the hatch. They're not going to quite get the layer, but in the main, they're going to go crazy on that spawning pool. Will they kill it? And they get it. The Warp Prism is still alive. They could potentially get out of there if they wanted to, but no, they sacrificed their lives for ire and taken back their homeworld. Maybe we learned Dashin Terminal is in the map pool because it's the stupidest map ever. It's actually the Protoss homeworld. It's a part of it. Even though it's mechanical, no one cares. Protoss are actually Terrans, obviously. But we'll see how this final fight goes down. I think this is going to be it. The Stalkers have to be very careful. There is a lot of Roaches in a maxed out army versus an almost maxed out Zerg army. Things can happen. Beautiful concave for GameTime, but the storms are still so good. Currently, JackO is at 3, plus 3 attack and 1 shield. Doing really well. Beautiful storms do go down, but there's not any storms left now. These High Templars are only a liability. Stalkers desperately trying to get out of this ginormous concave. Archon's at the back of the army. The Stalkers will not be doing that much damage, but with the Roaches coming on the left-hand side to get a little bit of a surround, the Archon will be able to at least buffer that, but still, Roach is actually killing a lot of this. Stalkers and Immortals are being kind of came in, but actually, GG won't be able to do enough. No prize. GG, JackO. 1-0 in this best of 3 finals, or best of 3 Lazarus match for 2nd place. Let me get some water. I talked for 25 minutes. All right, water break done. I think, you know what? Just GameTime never got his upgrades, man. I feel like I probably said JackO and GameTime wrong a whole bunch in that game. For some reason, or like mixed up their names. But guys, GameTime, I mean, he was looking so good, but each time was 0-0 versus +3, albeit +1 shield. Kind of wonky, but nevertheless, +3, that was great. And maybe, I'm always thinking about shields because I feel like it's something that never truly cognitively is registered, but it happens a lot. Just shields do actually regrow really quickly. Or not regrow, they replenish really quickly. So with a style of you're defending with Blink Stalkers, +1 shields actually can be decent because you're blinking back. The ones in the back may not fight for a little while because you're fighting at choke points. And overall, it may actually be decent. I think it was a kind of cool move. Maybe it was just on accident, but nevertheless, JackO successfully holds for a very, very 25-minute long game. Holds, and then GameTime, he keeps throwing everything into a meat grinder, and it comes out with JackO